from the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hello, all those in podcast land. Thank you so much for listening once again to Talking Catholic, this official podcast of the Catholic community of South Jersey. I'm Pete Sanchez with my co-host Michael Walsh. Michael, we are Easter week.
It is Easter week, yes.
How are you doing? I see a little glow about you today.
Okay. That must be the Holy Spirit working through me
Easter
without
joy.
my knowledge.
Yeah.
No, actually, what you probably see right now is Easter exhaustion. Because if anybody follows the social media of the Diocese of Camden, they will see that Holy Week was wonderful and spectacular as always, and I was able to make it to each and every one of the events, starting with Palm Sunday and then the Chrism Mass, which if you didn't get a chance to, we did a Facebook live stream last week, which is still up on the Diocesan Facebook page. So if you wanted to see what the Chrism Mass is all about, you can check that out. And actually, I wish we had it in smell-o-vision because it's the nicest smelling Mass of the year. It's just this beautiful chrism smell, which is just lovely. It's intoxicating. And then it was a wonderful Holy Thursday Mass down at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton in Absecon, which was really, really, really wonderful, actually. And then we had the Good Friday services at which parish? Oh, at the St. Joe's Pro Cathedral in Camden, and then the Easter Vigil Mass, which was, I've been to a lot of Easter Vigil Masses now, and that may have been the most beautiful Easter Vigil Mass I've ever seen. The candlelight procession and the candlelight all inside the church. I mean, there were photographs that I've always wanted to do good photos of candlelight moments in time, and that's some of the best photography I think I've ever done in my entire life was during that Vigil Mass, plus the baptism of 2 new catechumens and a confirmation of a third took place during that, and then finally the Easter Mass on Easter Sunday at St. Teresa of Calcutta in Collingswood was very joyous, and Bishop had great homilies throughout. So if you want to see any of those, at least photographs of them anyway, you can go onto the diocesan social media pages where we shared them all. So that was great, and it's very it's energy sapping for me in the sense that it's a lot of work during that week, but everything I came across was so beautiful, and everybody was so wonderful and so up and so filled with the Easter blessings. It was just outstanding. So it was wonderful. Yeah.
I'm sure you got extra blessings, Mike, for doing all the good work that you do.
Well, I don't know about that, but it was definitely interesting. It was good times, and I love one of the parts of this job that I love is traveling around the diocese, which is why it's so nice to be out of the vault today and in beautiful bucolic Hamilton, which, geez, we haven't been to in a long time. So I'm glad we finally had an occasion to come back.
Yeah, we're excited. We're here with Kim Bazotsky. Kim,
yes,
how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. And Mike, I also see the glow. I'm kind of thinking it may be the recessed lighting above our heads. Maybe
Yeah,
we each have it.
that could be it too. But hey, whatever makes it work. I can use some glow.
That's right.
And congratulations, you're a new mother.
Yes, thank you so much.
February 11th, right?
February 11th, Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes.
And what is his name?
Maximilian Michael Pio.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the Pio was a last-minute addition because we had Father Pio Mandato here for just before Christmas, and as I was approaching 9 months pregnant, I was here listening to him, and as soon as he mentioned Padre Pio's name, Francesco Forgione, the baby kicked me 3 times really hard. So I said, okay, St. Pio, you're in there. We'll put it in there. We'll give him an extra long name.
I love how you call your youth group here at St. Mary Mount Carmel MMC, and now you have your own MMP.
I had thought that too, a little MMP.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, see, that's the thing. When he gets older, you can say MMP at MMC.
That's right.
So,
That's the plan.
That's beautiful. He's a beautiful boy.
Oh, thanks, Pete.
And
he is, if I might say so myself. He is.
Congratulations to you and your husband, Mark.
Thank you so much.
So we got a few events before we get into what Kim and I and Mike are going to talk about some good stuff. This is our first movie review, kind of, Mike, I think.
Yeah, it is. And on an important day in movie land, we're going to be talking about a very important movie. But also today, we happen to be recording it on the day that Avengers Endgame is released, which will probably break every box office record ever known to man. So this is a very movie-centric day.
It is. I'm going to have to. You're going to see it before me, so I might have to have earmuffs on.
I don't spoil. But
Good.
That being said, I am going to be annoyed because I'm going to have to wait, for however long it takes everyone else to watch it so I can start talking about the movie. So, and it's a 3-hour movie. So I'll see you at midnight tonight, and at 3 a.m. Tonight I'll be back in bed.
So we won't see you at work tomorrow then.
No, I'm taking tomorrow off as a end-game recovery day.
Good. No, that's good, Mike. And then
You
on
probably
Monday,
aren't
good.
the only one, Mike.
I don't think I am. I seriously considered going to work. I was like, nah, I'll be a mess. I'm not going.
There's
that
many
is-
others across the nation.
Yeah.
I did see they're having round-the-clock screenings of that movie.
Oh yeah.
Which are a little insane. As somebody who worked at a movie theater during college for summer, I can't imagine being there till even starting work at 4 in the morning maybe. I can't imagine being there that late. I've been there late, but not.
Well, I think these things have already been started. I think it's 48-hour long marathons. If you want to see all 22 movies, it's a 48-hour endurance test. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's
I
crazy.
don't know. I like watching it. There is something about watching movies on the big screen, but there's something. I don't know. I've seen all these movies so many times on cable on my own personal collection.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I don't have. I'm excited to see this.
I once did a 6-hour or a six episode Star Wars movie marathon. The first 6 episodes when they all came out on Blu-ray. This is 15 years ago probably, and I will say that of the group, we watched in the basement of a friend's house, and of the 6 guys that were there, I was the only one that was able to make it through all 6 of the movies, which I take as a badge of honor. I don't think I'd be able to pull that off with 11 Marvel movies, though. It might be a little harder.
I have my own
22.
experience about that. We were trying. My friends and I got a bunch of people over to do the 6 movies, the original 6, and the after what was it? We started with. Did you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or
We
4,
did
5?
We did them in chronological order,
Okay.
as per the universe, not as per 1977 to
Nice
1999.
touch. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Well, but see, somebody. We'll talk about this later. But I think
We
off
will.
the show, this will be a director's cut or podcast cut. But just for purposes of time. But we were gonna do all 6 movies. We ended Revenge of the Sith, and my friend said, it's getting late. How about we just do this another time? And my other friend agreed with him, and I was like, come on. And they ended up leaving, and we did it a month later.
All right,
So it was kind of.
you need new friends.
Yeah, I know, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
But so we'll get back to movies in a sec. But this is exciting. This Saturday, April 27th, Mike and I have talked about this a lot. There's a walk which is following the way of St. James on the Road of Life. This is inspired by the El Camino de Santiago, the Way of St. James. This is sponsored by Vitality Catholic Healthcare Services in cooperation with Holy Trinity Parish in Margate. This is going to be from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Beginning at St. James Church, 6415 Atlantic Avenue in Ventnor. There's going to be morning prayer. There's going to be a pilgrimage walk to Blessed Sacrament Church, the Trinity Chapel in Margate, and Eucharistic adoration, meditation, and then a walk back to Ventnor for Mass and lunch. So come on up. I will be there. Say hello to me. I think the weather should be beautiful on Saturday, at least in the 60s, sunny skies. So thank the Blessed Mother. This is going to be exciting. Again, this is going to be a walk on this Saturday, April 27th. Come together for prayer, fitness, and fellowship. Registration is from 8 to 8:45 a.m. Again, at St. James Church, 6415 Atlantic Avenue in Ventnor, New Jersey. Sponsored by Vitality. For more information, contact Ann Perillo, 856-583-6121. And later on this weekend, I'm excited to. It's going to be awesome. The Afternoon of Jazz. Plus, it was just sponsored by the Diocese of Camden's Black Catholic Ministries Cultural Diversity. It benefits, this is neat, it benefits the Black Catholic Ministries Scholarship Fund for students So it's the 28th annual, and what better way to come on, listen to good music, have good food, there'll be dancing, all for a good cause. This is Sunday, April 28th at Aletto Caters, 1849 Cooper Street, Almanesson, New Jersey, from 2 to 7 p.m. $50 per person. Again, this money goes to help students with the scholarship fund. For more information, contact Joe DeGennaro at 856-583-2904 or the chairperson, Lisa Scott Coley, 856-313-7443. Again, Aletto Caters in Almanesson, New Jersey, this Sunday from 2 to 7 p.m., the afternoon of Jazz Plus, with the sounds of To the Max. And that same day, there will be a Eucharistic celebration. This is the month, Autism Awareness. April is Autism Awareness Month, and there will be a Eucharistic celebration this Sunday starting 10 a.m. at St. Teresa of Calcutta Parish, Holy Savior Church on 50 Emerald Avenue in Haddon Township. All are welcome for this. And there'll be a reception with light refreshments. Afterwards, Father Hugh Bradley will be celebrating the Mass. And Holy Savior and McDade Hall are fully accessible, so come on out. For more info on autism awareness, contact the National Catholic Partnership on Disabilities, www.ncpd.org. This is this Sunday, 10 a.m., Autism Awareness Mass at St. Teresa of Calcutta Parish at Holy Savior Church. And then the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception next week is holding another speaker series. The monthly speaker series is continuing, and the one they're having next week, May 1st, is a friend of the show. He's been on before, Brother Mickey McGrath, who will speak on Mary in the life of the Church. Brother Mickey McGrath, if you want to go back, this was, I think, December 2018, during Advent that year. No, 2017. Almost a year and a half ago. Brother Mickey's an oblate of St. Francis de Sales, an artist, a wonderful artist, writer, and speaker. He loves to explore the relationship between art and faith. I have a few of his works. He's just such an ebullient spirit. He really is he just talented. As somebody who's a writer and loves creativity, I just think Brother Mickey's amazing. I've been to his studio a few times too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is going to be May 1st. This is Wednesday, as they all are, at 7 p.m. in the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception on Mary in the Life of the Church at the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception. And then, Kim, we have, the Franciscan Sisters of the Renewal.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they're wonderful.
So, and they are having, once again, they're in Atlantic City, the first Saturday devotional with there's going to be Mass, adoration, benediction, a healing service, confession, a talk by a Franciscan Friar of the Renewal. This is going to start at 10 a.m. on Saturday, May 4th. So come on out to that. For more information, contact the sisters. This is in Atlantic City. It is on Mississippi. This is
10 Mississippi Avenue, Atlantic City at St. Michael's Church.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. And I've been there so many times.
I'm also going to tell the sisters that you couldn't remember that.
Oh, no, I'm in trouble.
I think they'll be forgiving.
They will.
I hope.
That's true.
I hope. So that's going to be this Saturday, May 4th in Atlantic City. So come on out and see the Franciscan Sisters of the Renewal for a wonderful day of devotion. And then May 10th, at St. Charles Borromeo Church. This is Friday, May 10th, 176 Stagecoach Road. There will be Family in the Heart of Catechesis and Evangelization. This is actually 2 nights, one in Spanish, one in English. This is going to be in Spanish, in English, Friday, May 10th at St. Charles Borromeo, 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. There will be Latino lunch. Come on out to figure out how all families, are called to be a domestic church where the role of the parents is to be God's image. The guest speakers will be Dulce Jimenez, Director of Bilingual Religion Markets for William H. Sadler Incorporated, and Reverend Alejandro Lopez Cardinal, the pastor in the Archdiocese of Boston and the president of the National Network of Pastoral Juvenil Hispania. And the event, as I said, will be in English on Friday, May 10th, but also in Spanish on May 11th, the same time, 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., at the St. John Paul II Retreat House in Vineland. Latino lunch included, free admission, so come on out Friday, May 10th, Sicklerville, Saturday, May 11th in Vineland for Family in the Heart of Catechesis and Evangelization. Thank you very much.
One more really important
sure,
event coming up, and I found out through one of our parents here who's helping to organize this event in the diocese. It's Accepting the Gift, Catholic Parents of Special Needs Children Conference, and it is at Mater Ecclesiae on Saturday, April the 27th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and there's more information that can be found at materecclesiae.org, but one of our parents here is actually one of the speakers, and it just looks like a really great event for parents with special needs children, and I think it would be very empowering and great source of fellowship to connect with other parents.
Thanks so much, Kim. That is this Saturday.
And I think since
Yes,
we're in
this
Hamilton, we'd be remiss if we didn't say also the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Festival, the largest and greatest Italian festival in South Jersey, is going to be held in Hamilton, right here with the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Society, July 10th through the 16th. So it's a great event. We've been to it many times. Best food in South Jersey.
Oh, yeah.
Tons of fun, lots of amusements. So if you get a chance, definitely come to it. I've missed the last couple of years because I've had conflicts. I'm going to make every effort to make it this year.
Great.
calendar,
We'll
Mike.
be happy to see you.
That's right. So anyway, we're down in Hamilton with a very special podcast, our first full movie review. So that'll be everything we talk about today, aside from the events we just came through. So Pete, what movie are you guys reviewing today?
Well, a few weeks ago, I talked with Kim, and she invited me to go to see this new movie, Unplanned, that I'd heard about. And basically, there's a book called, and Kim, you can fill in the gaps if I miss anything. There was this woman, Abby Johnson, who worked at a Planned Parenthood in Texas, and after basically she spoke about in her book, after she was a director, she had participated in 20,000 abortions.
I think it was 22,000, she said in the
22,000.
movie.
Thanks. And she had personally witnessed an ultrasound abortion, and after that kind of had a conversion and started helping out with, she left her job and became pro-life advocate. She wrote a book, and now this movie, Unplanned, is about, you invited me to it, and I saw it with your youth group
Yes.
a few weeks ago. It's out in theaters right now. The movie is called Unplanned, about Abby Johnson's life, and it was beautiful. Kim, can you say how did you first hear about this movie?
So I believe I heard about it through social media, and I was super excited to see that it was coming out. I had been showing the preview to our youth group, and anytime there's a powerful movie like that or any sort of faith-based movie, I always try and make it a point to bring our kids, because I feel that it's very challenging but important to find good entertainment. And I'm kind of fulfilling like a little dream today, but I've always wanted to be a movie critic. I've always been, my own movie critic. I've always been a movie buff, and I often feel that, especially in these times, it can be really challenging to find good entertainment where you're not offended, or there's just a pure message that's portrayed. And so I really try and support those movies. Yet this movie was a different angle, because I feel that this is more of a need to see type of movie. It's definitely, we made the mistake of getting popcorn. It's definitely not the kind of movie you get popcorn for. It's one of those things that it's a very hard reality. It's a very hard truth. I wish that when it was over, we could say this was just a movie, but sadly it's not. It's the truth. And we were very fortunate because we combined with Our Lady of Peace youth group and Carrie Janice. And we also had Father Mazzarella, Father Chris Bakey, Father Neil Dante, the CFR sisters. And of course you, Pete, joined us, and it was wonderful. We had about 50 people, nice big crowd, and we packed the house that night and got to support this film. And it was very powerful, even for those of us that have been in the pro-life movement for quite some time, and we understand the ins and outs of abortion, and we know the different types of abortion. It's still just heart-wrenching to watch. There's a scene where they show a first trimester abortion, and you see the ultrasound, and it's so heart-wrenching. And yet when I left there, Pete, I thought, that's only a first trimester. As disturbing as that was, it gets way worse as each trimester continues. And it's just horrifying. It's horrifying. And personally, I feel that abortion is one of those things that it's been going on so long that I think sometimes the faithful can maybe turn a blind eye, or maybe just kind of we get consumed with other things. But I personally feel that this is the greatest evil that we are facing, and we cannot pray for peace in the world so long as abortion is legal. So long as there's war in the womb, we will never enjoy peace in the world. We have to see the end of this horrible evil that's happening to our unborn and our women, the women that suffer so much afterwards. And I think the movie did a great job in portraying that for both sides, both the women and the babies.
Yeah, I think I agree. It was a very courageous movie and a courageous book. I've not read the book. I've seen Abby Johnson on TV. I've peripherally known about her for the last couple of years. But after seeing this movie, it's so important. But it seems I don't feel like it got a fair shake, unfortunately. I mean, I thought, first off, I thought it was an effective movie. There were, we talked about a few. They're laying carpets, aren't they, Kim?
Yes.
We were just talking about that. So we're hearing a little noise. We're like,
always
wait,
work to be done.
Yeah. Yes. I thought ultimately I hope I was talking with some of your group members, talking to the sisters, who all thought it was and sadly. The sisters before were in New York, and I was asking them, have they dealt with women, and in some cases, yes. And we need to let women know that there is. And now this is the problem I have sometimes, Kim. I'm a white male, and I think I've told you this before. What credibility? I'm so glad you're here, because I do think you're a more credible witness. You're a new mother. You're a female, and I think that sometimes I don't feel adequate being white, being male, to really talk about this topic.
Okay, so how so, Pete?
Well, I just feel I feel like sometimes that. Since I cannot have a baby, there are some some women and some other people will say, well, you don't know what it's like. So
I see.
I mean,
the common argument.
Can you help? Because I hope I'm not the only one feeling like this. How can I don't know.
I disagree. I kind of hope you are the only one feeling like this, because I mean, this is a human rights issue. It's not a gender specific issue. This isn't an issue only for women. I mean, and more importantly, one of the great arguments about abortion is it removes the father in today's culture from having an active role in deciding the fate of a child, because fathers in many states have no rights when it comes to a woman who decides to have an abortion. Plus, as a white man, you're more than welcome to pray and feel pity and sorrow. And I mean, I don't disagree. I don't agree with you at all. I think this is an area where we not only should be supportive, we should be standing beside the women in our lives, being with them and saying, we're here with you. We're here to support you. It's in the Abby. I was reading up about Abby today, and actually prior to today, but she's now married. She at the time she was working for Planned Parenthood. I think she was a Methodist, or she was a Protestant of some kind, and then at some point becomes a Methodist, and then in like 2012 it converted to Catholicism. She and her husband Doug now have 7 kids.
I think it's 8 now.
She's
Mike.
up to 8
now.
Wow,
Right. And their whole thing was one and done.
Oh, really? Yeah. It's when you say it, that's when it never happens. But I mean, like, so her faith journey has been, in addition to her journey as from Planned Parenthood to pro-life advocate, but her personal journey is phenomenal as well. I actually read a review today that said that this should really be considered a sequel, or this should be considered a prequel movie, because they should really also do a movie about her life now, like everything she's done,
Yes.
and everything she's been doing, and what kind of changes this movie has made in the world. Because you said something else, Pete, about how you didn't get its fair shake, and that may be true as compared to other movies, but this movie, because I think there was such incredible interest in it, they made it for $6 million. They were expecting it to only make $3 million. It made $6 million on its first week, and I think it's in week 3 or 4 now, and it's already up to $17 million. Right. And it was playing on I think up to 1,000 screens across the United States, which is an enormous amount for an independent movie like this. And then, in addition to that, you saw the outcry. So it had all these like sort of other cultural issues that happened to it. They lost like half their Twitter followers at one point mysteriously.
Right.
And then some people were blocked from being able to. It was insane. So there was all this insanity around the movie. And there was such an outpouring of support about it that it's almost been miraculous in the response that's happened to it.
I agree. It's almost as if, Mike, I do feel that there was a large push to try and snuff out the movie. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of theaters that rejected it. There's major channels that will not even show the preview. However, the people are coming to see it. And now that the movie's making money, theaters are opening their doors. Okay, sure, we'll show
Come on
it.
in.
And to what you said, Pete, I think I understand your position because I know the way that women, can use that argument. However, I think the important thing that Mike was trying to portray is that men are called to be, protectors, and that is the biggest role of a man. And I feel that when it comes to any man's position, whether it be leadership or our country, or if a man's stance is not concerned about protecting the most vulnerable, which are the unborn, there's no one more vulnerable than that. I really think that shows true character. That's heroism. That is a man fulfilling his duty of being the protector. And you as a man, just by showing support because, as Catholics, we aren't only concerned with the babies, we're concerned with the mothers too. And I think the common theme with abortion that we see is that you never see a woman leaving the abortion clinic cheering and exulting at her right to choose. They're going in crying, they're leaving crying. For most women, it's something that they carry with them till the day they die. Most women don't even share it with another person. It's painful. What we have right now is a society of hurting women. And yet we have these people applauding the right to choose. I don't see freedom in that.
Well, if I could just clarify, thank you, Mike. I appreciate your words. And Kim, too. I guess maybe I didn't explain myself as well. I do believe I'm pro-life. I do believe that I think, it's a human rights issue, but I guess it's just the larger culture. I feel I hear those voices from the counterculture.
Sure, absolutely.
That scream and shout, that kind of shout me down as a guy.
Right.
And so I guess maybe in that sense, I feel like, who am I to talk about this? But yes, I have to be a man of courage, I guess, to speak up on this, because I don't think those voices are going away anytime soon, Kim. The people who wanted to, and the movie's rated R for some reason.
That blew my mind, Pete. I'll be honest with you. Again, being a movie buff and especially being involved with the youth and seeing what they watch and what is offered to them, which there is not a very good variety of what is offered to them as far as purity and exalting virtue. Yet, to take this film and make it rated R, I personally feel as though there was something behind that. I think it made it very difficult for youth to see this film, and I think that was intentional. That's my opinion. But personally, is it a little graphic? It is, but that's the topic of what we're dealing with, and it's the truth. And I think at that point, which was why I took our kids to see it, and so did Carrie, was that we feel the same way, that we cannot hide the truth from them. Unfortunately, this is the horror of abortion. We also took them to see Gosnell. And, this is the truth of what it is. And just like Abby Johnson bought the lie that she truly believed that fetus did not feel pain. And she believed that. And she also believed that she was doing a good service for women. And she saw with her own eyes, yes, that fetus does feel pain. And this is a human life we're dealing with. And she saw that. She had that amazing conversion. And now God is using her story for good, to give him glory, which is wonderful.
Yeah. I think, again, back to that, it's rated R. I didn't realize, in this country, a 15-year-old girl can get an abortion without parental consent.
But you can't see the film.
No. And I think
Unbelievable, Pete.
it is, but hopefully the word can get out now through, and I do believe it's now going to go international.
Yeah,
I'm
which
very
is
excited about
fantastic.
that. Yeah,
Yes.
so it can get a wider audience. And
You said something related to. You said something related to the rated R rating, which I was reading a column about it this week, and they talked about the rated R, and they saw at first blush you're like, that's such a ridiculous. There's nothing in it that should be rated R, except for the violence, and it is such a violent act. An abortion is such a violent act that when you think of it in that terms, yeah, it deserves an R rating.
That's a really good point, Mike. I never thought of it from that perspective.
Yeah, so because of that, yeah, it is R. So let's all in the real world, culturally, let's also see that this is a violent act, because there's no other reason that this should be receive an R rating.
You're absolutely right. That's a really good point and a good argument.
Yeah, well, it's not mine. It's the one a columnist. Or actually, it was a columnist that I read in all places, the Washington Post, as a matter of fact. One of their, he was a speechwriter for George Bush, I think, and he wrote an opinion piece about it, and he was really urging people to go see it, because he says it's just, it was I wish I could remember his name now. I'm sorry about that. I have terrible memory when it comes to names. But, and I read that, and I said, you know what? Makes a lot of sense, because nothing else about it could possibly make sense as to why this received an R rating. Because one of the problems was R-rated movies cannot have trailers. The trailers can only be shown in other R-rated movies. So, which is great if you're going to see Deadpool, which is R-rated. But if you're taking your kids to see, you'll never see it run in front of a Marvel movie, for instance. Right. So it won't reach that wider audience.
My husband had an interesting perspective on the R rating as well. I was frustrated when I first heard it, and I was concerned about the barrier it would bring for bringing our youth. And his perspective was, he said he feels as though it'll bring more youth to see it because they want to see rated R movies.
That's
and
true
I
too.
actually thought that was a really great point, and I thought, well, I hope that is the case for our high school students, that they do go see this film. And personally, I feel as though this is a film that every Catholic needs to see. I think one of our youth put it best. One of the girls from our lead team, Miranda, is a high school student, and her response was, this is a story that needs to be told. And I think that's exactly right. Like I said, it's not the kind of film you see for entertainment value. You don't buy popcorn like we did. And it's not that type of a film. It's more of we need to see it. We need to not turn a blind eye. We need to see the horror of what this really is, because we have to keep fighting for this end. And that's what I love about our church, is that we're not only concerned with the unborn and the horror of what they're facing in this war in the womb, but we're also there to pick up the pieces for the broken men and women after the fact, with things like organizations like Project Rachel and the Sisters of Life that offer healing retreats for men and women, because the people are broken. And I think the movie did a great job on portraying that one girl that she said, it might have been Abby, she said, you leave different, you leave changed. When you've had an abortion, you're different, and it's not it's not for the better. And that's what's great about our church, is that we are there to help the men and women after the fact, to heal, and to there's just nothing good about it whatsoever. And we have to keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah. I'm curious, which theater did you end up seeing it
We
at?
went to Regal Cross Key Cinema 12, and if you go on Tuesdays, it's half price.
Oh, okay. That's very good.
Cashed in on that deal.
Because I think I haven't seen the movie, so I should put that out there right now. I have not seen the movie. I would save all my money for Marvel movies. Just kidding. But I saw it at what was it? It's at the Ritz Theater in Voorhees, which is tradition. I mean, they show all the most outlandish, super progressive kind of movies there.
Wow.
So I was really impressed that the Ritz had it there as well. I was like, that's the audience who we would want to see it as well, that same audience. So I'm hoping it's getting I think it definitely got the buzz, and which is something that is unusual. Like I admit that this was not necessarily on my radar And it was literally just in my Twitter stream that I first became aware of it, and then first became aware of the sort of cultural sort of drama coming around it related to the incidents that occurred to its social media account and whatnot. And then I've been seeing people who never share movie recommendations ever on social media are all sharing this movie because it's so unique. I mean, I don't think there's anything like this movie that's ever come out before.
I agree.
No.
Other than Gosnell, which a little bit of a different story, but same topic.
Yeah.
I also heard rumor there's another pro-life movie coming out later this year. And personally, I just feel as though the battle lines are really being drawn right now, especially with what just happened in New York. And you see each state kind of rising up and making their own abortion laws. And it just seems that things are really coming to a head. And that's how I feel with the news and the media and everything that's happening. I also see Abby Johnson's personality and how the Lord used her, because she is a very courageous woman. And after the fact, when she had her conversion and she left, and then she's right outside the same clinic she was a director for, praying and counseling the women that are going in. It takes courage to do that. Yeah. And they came after her, with the lawsuit, and she fought right back. And I thought, wow, her personality really had I think a lot to do with the Lord being able to use her for His glory, because I know she's receiving a lot of backlash, and she'll continue to, but she's not afraid of it.
You speak about that support. There was I think she started an organization too to help women like her who might want to leave.
And then there were none, it's called.
Then there were none. Thank you.
Since the release of the movie 2 weeks ago, I read that over 100 women that are in the abortion industry saw the film and have since left.
Wow.
And that was 2 weeks ago.
And that's it. And the one, it's interesting, at the end of the movie, they had like the real life, what's happened since the events that happened. And they talked about the abortion clinic where she worked shut down. Yes. And is now, I think, a pro-life center.
The center for the headquarters for the Coalition for Life.
That's it.
Yeah, Pete. I think that was one of the biggest hope that I brought from the movie. As heart-wrenching as it was, it really drove home the power of prayer, because they highlighted the Coalition for Life and how their involvement was, and apparently they're the ones that began the 40 Days for Life in front of that particular clinic. And in the movie, you see that their prayers. Not only did Abby had her conversion, the director of Planned Parenthood, that center was closed down and then became the headquarters for the Coalition for Life. So I think that's a really great testament for all the great prayer warriors out there that do take the time and the effort to pray in front of abortion clinics. Oh, the other most important point was when Abby told the couple from the Coalition for Life, she said they had vented to her, and they said, we feel as though we don't know if our prayers are always doing something. We don't always get to see the effects of our prayers. She said, oh no, it's Planned Parenthood's dirty little secret that every time you're out there praying, our no-show rate is 75%. And if you remember that part, I think that's really key, because I know in our diocese we do have some soldiers out there that do pray in front of the abortion clinics, and it's really important to know that we may not see what's going on inside or the effects of our prayers, but the no-show rate is very, very high when people are outside praying, and that's beautiful.
I know I've been out there. Mike, you've been out there. Bishop Sullivan.
No, sure.
Been to the one in Cherry Hill, right outside the Cherry Hill Center. So it's we need to keep doing that. And I think too there was a part with other. What I liked is that there was also a scene with somebody screaming and kind of really being nasty to the women, and I think Sean Carney, what's his name? The guy from Pro-Life, the Coalition.
Oh, yes.
His name was Sean
right.
Carney.
Yes.
And real person, I forget. And then his wife and were saying, well, that's not everybody. I mean, because I do think there can be some... I personally think some people take it too far.
You're absolutely right, Pete. And that, I feel like the Catholic approach is always love, which is why the Catholics were always peaceful. We pray. We're always peaceful protesters when it comes to the March for Life. Our approach is always love, to the degree of the hurting parents after the fact, which is why we have services like Project Rachel and the Sisters of Life with their healing retreats, because we don't condemn. We try and be there to support every aspect and everyone that's involved. And we have an abortion. It's not only the child that's involved, but the parents are involved as well. And we're there to support that. And they did show the ineffectiveness of the people that are out there, and they're casting judgment, and the one man was dressed like the Grim Reaper, and that's just not effective. I understand their intention, but that's not the Catholic approach, and that's not the way that we approach abortion.
I don't think it's not, and it's not the way we should. And the other, I guess, I've gotten more courage thanks to you and Mike now with this, and I also am encouraged with the role of her husband in the movie. Her husband was very supportive during the whole time she was working at Planned Parenthood. Her husband was, and even Abby Johnson's parents were not happy with her. She tried to justify her job, but really it wasn't. No, don't. And I really, the family and the cute daughter too.
Yes,
of course.
Her family played a terrific role, and if I'm assuming they stuck to the truth of the story because Abby was involved in it's her story, so she was involved in the whole planning. The husband was terrific because from day one he did not support Abby's job whatsoever. He was pro-life, but he loved her, and he continued to love her, and she knew deep down that he did not like what she did. And so I think I think he was a great example of a silent witness. And when she did have her conversion, she went to him, and he was so thrilled, and her parents were so thrilled, but they continued to love her through her decision. But she knew deep down that they didn't support what she did, and I know that had an effect on her. I thought the husband played a terrific role. He did a great job.
I think there was we talked about there were a few unfortunate musical cues.
Yes,
but
if I could change anything, that would be the one thing in the movie I would change.
And I think with that, and also, I would have liked to have heard more of other options for women. I don't think they talked about that. There are places, good counsel homes. There are a few other, for pregnant women who don't have anywhere else to go. I felt like maybe they could have talked.
Yeah, but I don't know about that because the movie exists as her story. I mean, it's a movie.
Yeah.
Granted, it's a movie that the right to life movement, and honestly, all people should really gravitate to. But it's that story in particular. It's not a marketing device for the right to life movement. It's something that the right to life movement I think can be inspired by. So I don't know if I would be recommending too many changes to the movie, though. I am now very curious as to what the musical cues that threw you off are.
So, Mike, there was one scene where I had just reached over to Mark and I said, this is not the right song for this scene. And what they did was, and Pete made a great point, where I think they were trying to show support of Christian artists, which was the song Overcomer. You know the artist, Pete.
Yeah,
Mandisa. It's a great song. It's an upbeat song. It's the kind of song you want to put on when you're working out or you're trying to get a job done. And they played that song at the scene when Hurricane Ike was scheduled to hit on a Saturday, which is Planned Parenthood's busiest day. So Abby Johnson went ahead and scheduled all their abortions for the day before. So, and then they played that song. So she's bringing in all the women, and it gave this portrayal as if they're doing good work because of the song. And I thought if I was to critique that movie, that would be the only thing I would change was the song dynamic and the spirit that it brought.
That would be interesting to hear from the director, Abby, why that song. I wonder if there was like an underlying reason that they did that. Like I can't think of it. Like maybe that's supposed to be the subtlety of Christ coming in, and I don't know. I having not seen the movie.
Hopefully, maybe there is a deeper meaning behind it. Which
that would. But you're absolutely right. It is amazing how much a musical cue can either make something work or make something not quite work.
Absolutely.
Particularly if you're invested in what that song. Like I'll hear songs in a movie. Like sometimes you'll have. Not to bring this to Captain Marvel, to a Marvel movie, but there was a moment in Captain Marvel where there's this big fight scene, and it kicks in with No Doubt's "I'm Just a Girl," and a lot of people had a problem with the song being used, not because it wasn't appropriate, but it was actually too appropriate at that moment, because it was like it hit it on the nose too. Like it wasn't subtle enough for them. Whereas I was sitting in the theater, being a No Doubt fan from back in the mid '90s, And seeing that song going, all right, I love it. This is perfect. This speaks. I love this. This is outstanding. And then I heard like super critics who were like, no, it should have been something. Should have been more. Should have been a whole song instead or something like that. I don't know.
How about that? Too appropriate. That's interesting.
So when you're familiar with something like
Right.
you are with this song, it does. I think you're like, you're using it wrong. That's not the kind of thing you should use it wrong.
Exactly.
So I think, but I agree with you. It's one of the problems filmmakers have with using well-known pieces, and not just musical pieces,
because people relate to them differently.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have something in your mind.
Right.
So I tend to be I will admit that I tend to be very charitable when it comes to filmmakers, unless they do something really, really stupid.
Right.
That maybe there was something I'm not getting here.
Yeah.
So I admit that from time to time I become an apologist.
And in regards to what you were saying, Pete and Mike, about the help for abortion, I do like at the end how they said to text HOPE to that number for anyone that's considering an abortion. And also, if you're active in the pro-life movement, there were some really great cameos. Lila Rose made a appearance in the movie, which we know that she's the founder of Live Action News, which is fantastic. And also the abortion doctor in the first scene was Dr. Levatino. Dr. Levatino was a former abortion doctor who's had a major conversion, and now he takes his experience performing abortions and makes videos. They're total fact-based videos. All he's stating is the facts of what he would do, but the procedures are so horrifying that people are having conversions. So he made a cameo in the movie as well. So it was neat to see, the pro-life movie on a whole, and these people come together.
See, that's a great. For me, that's a hallmark to a good filmmaker when they know enough about the subject that they can add cameos to it that will speak to the people in the audience who will make that connection.
Right.
These those little Easter eggs.
Yes, absolutely.
So, no, I think that's outstanding. It sounds to me like, and the group you went with, your youngsters, they were all moved by it.
They were wonderful. We took them to see it, and I really drive home the pro-life message to our youth because, number one, you never know where the youth are going to go. For example, Kellyanne Conway is a Hamiltonian, and she graduated from St. Joseph's High School. That's right here. So she's now, advisor to the president and all the influence that she has. So I try and take that example, and I look at our youth, and I just try and see them as I never know where the Lord is going to take them. Governor Andrew Cuomo is a Catholic. So, the governor of New York, who just passed the Reproductive Health Act. So it's very important that we really, really drive home our faith and make sure that our youth are well catechized and understand our fight and our stance and our morals, so that when they're out there in the world, they make the right choices. So the one response was, two of my girls said, I didn't know that's what abortion really was. And I think that's true. I think a lot of people turn a blind eye. A lot of people don't think a lot about it. And I just don't think that people really understand the horror of what it is. There's no freedom to choose. I never see women, like I said earlier, exulting in their right to choose after an abortion. I see women that are broken, men that are broken, a death, a child that was lost, and it's just brokenness.
Yeah.
And speaking of children, we talked a bit about you're a new mother. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
And how has motherhood changed you?
It has, Pete. It has. I feel that my heart is softer and more sensitive. And even seeing the film, now that I have this little face and these little eyes that look at me for protection and for nourishment, it brings a whole new perspective into seeing the film. And as a parent, we're called to be a protector from the moment of conception. This perfect little person was now placed in our care, and it's our duty to protect that child, and from that moment on. So it brought a whole new perspective on the whole movement. I have always been strong in the pro-life movement since I've come into my faith, but it's even stronger now because now I have a face, behind the whole movement.
And well, Kim, Okay, Mike, do we have time for 3 questions?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Kim, thank you so much for inviting us here to Hamilton.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming down.
And Mike, thanks for coming down too. Always a pleasure.
Sure.
I see
Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Your glowing faces.
That's great.
Kim, we want to end this with 3 questions. What 3 favorite movies?
Oh, great.
There's 1 question.
Great question. My all-time favorite, Ben-Hur. It's a phenomenal movie. Going My Way, Bing Crosby. Can never go wrong with Bing Crosby. That movie is just so wonderful and uplifting, great entertainment. My third would have to be The Passion of the Christ. Mel Gibson, I just think, is a phenomenal director. Everything he does is fantastic. And I'm really excited for The Resurrection to come out, the new movie that he's working on. I'm sure it'll be just as good. So they would be my top 3.
That's excellent. Can't argue with any of those.
No, I still need to see Ben-Hur.
Oh, you got to see it, Pete. I'll let you borrow it.
I don't
It's
think-
terrific.
I don't think you're allowed to do movie reviews if you haven't seen Ben-Hur.
Good
I wish
thing-
I
good
had known
thing you
that.
didn't.
Yeah, I wish I had known that beforehand. Jeez, man, that's like the most basic movie a movie lover has to go see.
It's terrific, Pete.
That's
It really
101
is.
filmmaking.
Oh
One
man.
day. Well, we should make this, Kim. You're going to have to come back. We should make this we should start our
count me in
movie
for the movie
cast.
reviews. That would be it's right up my alley.
the
yeah.
new Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah,
Or-
there's another Christian film coming out called Breakthrough. That's out in the theater right now, and I've heard actually one of my high school students, a guy, who said he was crying through the movie and how good it was. He was just telling me about it yesterday, and so yeah, I'm pretty excited to see that. We'll take a group to see that too.
Well, for more info on Unplanned, you can go to unplannedfilm.com for a trailer to become even an ambassador to promote the movie. Figure out there are other resources there. You'll find out also as well where the movie is playing. Again, international release is coming soon. So, Kim, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
And all the best with you and your family.
Thank you so much.
And your newborn. And Mike, thank you. And keep that Easter glow. I see it, Mike. I don't know. Maybe
Or
it
the
is a-
recess lighting. It could be
Yeah,
both.
I'll keep the recess lighting. That sounds like a good choice. All right, Pete. See ya. See ya, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.